Okay. Last clip. You want to talk about dumb. I wanted to end the show with something very cringy. And this is, I don't know. Sometimes you go to these events. Have you ever been to a corporate event, Lana? And it's just like way overdone. And there's just so much corny shit going on. And you're like, oh my God, this is so dumb. I feel like stupid being here.
That's hilarious. We have our summer outing Thursday, so maybe that's
you know what? One is coming. Did you ever watch the show The Office?
Oh my God, all the time.
Michael Scott would just do these things, and people are like, "Oh God damn it, dude!" So this would be racist Michael Scott if he were running an event. We talked earlier about the Turning Point USA event held by Charlie Kirk. And for some reason, they added this to the docket. And I'm not really sure exactly why they thought that this was a good idea. But they brought some gentlemen out onto the stage, playing in the background what sounds to be some sort of like male stripper sort of music, which really almost, it's okay, which really almost adds to the almost feels like a homoerotic sort of thing.
Oh, always with these people, always.
But man, if the cringe level in your body doesn't reach a 10 after watching this, I don't know what will. But here we go. Turning Point USA. This is what they had for the crowd. And it's a white boy summer. The bad boys throwing out what appear to be, are those pink hats? Okay, I can't watch any more of that. That is just so cringy.
I don't understand it.
Whose idea was that?
It's like, it's because it's so funny because that music seems like it's something I know, but then they changed it a little, almost like a Genuine song.
Right. Yes.
My Pony.
Right.
They're playing backwards.
Yes.
Right. Like somebody saw like Wild Hogs or something. Did you watch that movie Wild Hogs?
No, I haven't seen it.
I know it's hilarious.
I know you're talking about that.
John Travolta,
yes.
Martin Lawrence,
yeah,
and they were at a fair, and this fat white guy was singing "My Pony," and dancing was like down, like
that's the feeling you got there.
That's how it sounded like they were playing "My Pony" backwards. I was waiting for him to take the suit off and like start like. That's what I thought was going to happen. He's going to start dancing, but no, white boy.
I don't know how much longer I could have let it go on. Maybe it did. I don't know, but I wasn't going to let it go that far. But they came out with the walk and the sunglasses and the music and then they just unveiled this flag that said "White Boy Summer."
Nobody in that audience was like, "This makes me uncomfortable." Like it's just so. If I was white, I would be uncomfortable because it's like, what the fuck is this?
I mean, they're throwing it looked like a racist spring break, back in the 90s.
Boy, summer. Like, if there was any black people in that audience, they should have ran for the doors because I would have thought white hoods and sheets were coming next.
And I mean, again, and this is Donald Trump spoke at this, and this is the same. These are the same people that somebody like a 50 Cent or a Lil Wayne is going to say, "I'm voting for them," but they don't. They're right in your face.
The Detroit church,
yeah,
right. That's supposed to be a black church. I'm full of black people. But I'm going to talk at this Charlie Kirk event, the white supremacist.
The black church with no black people. Like you said, right. It makes no sense. It's just like, but then you're going to hold a flag that says white boy. What the fuck does that even mean? White boy summer.
I don't know. Is the summer of white boys? I have no idea. What is that?
Well, there's this idea, with some white people that it's okay to say that you're proud that you're white. And I'm like, guys, I'm not sure you're understanding the difference. I mean, I'm a white guy, and somebody, if they said to me, what makes you think that you understand the difference? And I'd be like, okay, maybe that's fair enough. But I think I do. I think I get, the difference as to why it's not something to say that you're proud to be white. But if somebody said they were proud to be black, I think there's a different connotation there. That's just my take on it.
And I feel like it's common sense, right? Like, I don't understand why no one would understand, but I guess you don't understand when you're not educated and you don't really want to understand. And that's why you're racist in the first place, right? Because only a racist would be like, why you gotta have ebony book? Why you gotta put black in front of things, right? Because it's almost like you're threatened by it.
Manu, you don't know how many white people I have met that have said, if there was a white entertainment channel that people would lose their minds. I said, there was a white entertainment channel for since television began. And then
still going on.
Then on the same breath, they'd be like, why don't black people start their own stuff? And then they do. And they're like, well, why do they start their own stuff? And it's just like this circle that goes around over and over and over again. And I'm just
really
like,
disgusting, right? And that pisses me off too. It's like the fucking nerve of you to ask that goddamn question about why is there black entertainment? Can we not be entertained? Like, I don't understand. Are you airing like the stuff that we like? Because you're not. None of it. What, a show or two? It's like, can we have something?
I think, well, first of all, you can, and what those people say mean nothing. I mean, and again, it means, well, I shouldn't say that because it means nothing to me. I'm sure people in the black community, it's got to still mean something because you're like, wait, why are we being excluded from something that, everybody else gets to enjoy? First of all, I was going to go back and say, when we were talking about people, if they say they're proud to be black, for decades and centuries, black people were made to feel like they should not be proud of their color. And I think that's, sort of where that whole saying comes from, is that, no, I am proud to be black. I'm not going to let this, define who I am. And
right. It's reinforcing, right? We had my parents had to tell me, people my age, like, no, you're beautiful. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. Your hair is beautiful. You had to be reinforced because, like you said, it goes with black entertainment TV. There was none for us. If you're seeing a white woman and a shampoo commercial with blonde, long hair, that's the default. So you're looking like, I don't have this. I must not be pretty. I'm not represented. So can we get a little representation? That's all we want. It's a channel. You shouldn't be threatened by one channel, but they are. And that is why they're putting PragerU, and I know this is a whole nother thing, into the school system so that PragerU can teach kids, downplay slavery, downplay, everything that happened in the civil rights movement, you know what I mean? To make a whole bunch of children now grow up to not understand, right? So they're taking that pride away again.
Yeah.
Right? And making white as the default again. And then the black kids are just going to just fall in line and think again, like, they're not as important. They're not as good. So they won't recognize when they're not getting the jobs because of diversity is gone, right? They're not going to know. Then they won't know any better. They're not going to, the oppressors are making it so that they can continue to oppress non-white people without them even knowing that they're being oppressed, because you're not going to teach them.
I hope over the years that there, some strides in activism and stuff like that have happened to where it wouldn't be as terrible. But you're right. I mean, it's you're taking steps forward and then you're just going backwards with a PragerU. You're doing all that stuff, and make a point what you were saying earlier, like, if you're a young black girl and you had to be told, no, you are pretty, you have nice hair, you have all this stuff. The other thing too is that, you still see it to this day. Young black girls are kidnapped and taken away. It's not a national story the same way if it was the pretty young blonde girl who was on, the national news. It's all over the place. So now there's almost this feeling like they matter, because look what's happened. But my friend is missing. She's been missing for 3 weeks and nobody's saying shit about her.
Imagine natives. It's worse for Native Americans
when
they go missing.
Yeah.
No one cares ever.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it just comes down to, like I said, just care maybe and have some compassion towards all people and not just the people that you think resonate with you or, you resonate with, because I promise you a lot of the people you think you resonate with, they don't resonate with you at all. They want nothing to do with you. And that includes Donald Trump. So, I mean, he's the king of not giving a shit about you.
Right.
So, well, that was a fun discussion.
It was. I mean, hey, we the Black and White Show.
Yeah, right. With Brian Rundle and Lana Quest. That's why we do this. And we have, I think, a good time doing it. And I think it's, I don't know. I that's why I like Lana on the show. And she has a lot of good insight. And, it helps me. I hope I help her. And we have a good time together. So, but anyway, let's wrap up, Lana.
Happy Juneteenth.
Juneteenth. I was going to tell you that. Happy Juneteenth. And, we just had a Father's Day on Sunday. So happy Father's Day to all the people who are out there who are dads. And happy Juneteenth tomorrow. That is another day where white people can pretend like they're pissed off and angry about something that they do not understand.
Exactly.
Lana, I'm telling you, it's funny.
I know a holiday. We don't get. There's no whatever white day. I don't know.
I think,
white boy summer. I don't.
I was gonna say we can get white boy summer, but Juneteenth, fuck that. That ain't happening at Turning Point USA. No fucking chance. It's funny is that black people hear enough racist shit as it is. I'm telling you the amount of racist shit white people hear from white people. Want it? It's so fucking dumb too. It's just so exhausting just to you could be around, I used to work in the car business and there was a lot of uneducated people in there and you couldn't imagine just hearing the people, oh, it's fucking Juneteenth tomorrow. I mean, what the fuck we got? It's like, how does that affect you? Give me one.
They literally get mad. I'm sure they do.
Or can you even explain what it is first? So how can you get mad at something that you don't even know what it is?
Yeah. Way close. You should have heard our law firm. And it's so funny because today we had diversity and inclusion dialogue. And there are different themes. And the theme today was the LGBTQ plus. And we had a trans woman that worked at the ACLU in Louisiana talk about just her process, how she did it when she came out, different tips if you want to come out, how to come out. If you have a very conservative client, how do you deal with that? Just all of the conversations. But it's so funny because the managing partner, he'll never watch this, but he just wasn't there. And I just think he just is unclear about, we're a diverse firm.
Sure.
Which is interesting because we have firms all over the place, but the one in Boston, it's just a little different.
Boston's a different town.
Which is, right. Especially the law field, right? A lot of people go to Boston, come to Boston for the schools because, has great education is here. And then they leave and practice law somewhere else. That's what we get. So it's not as diverse as you would think that it would be since it's Boston. But
and before we go, I always tell, I said, if you really want to be mad at something that we have to have things like this, understand why we have to have stuff like this.
Right.
If we had had a country that had just included everybody and had treated
Right.
people like they were all humans to begin with,
Right.
this would never happen. So
Right.
no, this is not a thing about because I'm white, I feel guilty about it. I don't have a white guilt. What I have is a human emotion towards other human beings and an understanding of where and why it comes from. And that's it. I mean, if you can at least acknowledge that and help move forward everything, then I think you're doing the right thing. But if you're going to sit here and fucking complain that there's a BET or there's a Juneteenth, you're not only setting everybody else, you're setting yourself back.
Which is hilarious because be mad at white people. They
Right.
made race.
I say that all the time.
Race. We
Yeah.
didn't make race. They
Nope.
quick to be like, you're race baiting. To black people, it's like, white people made race. It's a social construct so that they're on top of the system. They made it.
Yep.
You know, race.
Well, don't forget, Lana, you should consider yourself lucky that you were brought over here and the African people were brought over here. That's what I hear too, is, you know.
True. I mean, you know, I guess my ancestors had all those skills and stuff.
Yeah.
They did from their motherland, but it wasn't because of being enslaved.
Well, we're not going to know about that anymore because we're ripping that off the books once Project 2025 takes over.
I mean, it's going on now because what's the latest state that just stopped AP African American Studies? There's another state. There's like 6 now. Another state added. Just
I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but you know, surely, I mean, there's
Idaho.
I'm shocked that Idaho taught it to begin with. To be I'm shocked that they weren't already on the list.
I don't know. It's one of those states. You know, this is coming to a state near you.
It's coming to a state near you, especially if Project 2025 takes over. By the way, if you didn't see John Oliver, and you can watch this free on YouTube, type in Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. And he did like a 22-minute piece about Project 2025. It's a must watch. You should watch that. So it's really, really good. If people are not familiar with it, and more people are starting to report on this and getting more and more familiar with it. I see a lot of the other news outlets
should be scared
talking about it. And this is no fucking joke. This is
Yeah.
serious shit. And people don't understand. They think all this shit is cute and funny until it actually hits. And then once it hits, there might be no going back.
Y'all ain't heard Steve Bannon? What the fuck he's saying? Like,
Yeah.
come on, man. Trump talking about executing people.
That's the thing. I don't think they know. People don't know. They're not hearing Steve Bannon. The only people hearing Steve Bannon are the far right MAGA people. They are hearing him. But you know, it's this underground swell of, you know, just little drips out there to get people.
Regular people don't know who Steve Bannon is.
No, they don't. They'll know him in a couple weeks when his ass gets thrown in jail and he can't vote in November, which is fucking awesome. But other than that, you know.